I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver in May, the end of May, and I'm joined by George Salamis of Integra Resources.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, great, and you?
Good. A good opportunity. I don't think we've actually done one of these to really introduce the new Integra, which is not that new. You've been around for a little while now, but and in that little while, the story's already evolved quite a bit.
It has.
So you've got this asset down in Idaho, two assets that are right side by side that already have a bunch of gold. So why don't you lay out sort of the history and what the situation is now, and then we can get into the excitement that you're looking forward to.
Historically, I don't know how far back I can go to the 1800s, I can go to the 1970s or 80s, but no, this is an asset it's a mature asset. It's a brownfields asset,
Sure.
southwestern Idaho. And true to the Integra flavor, if you will, we wanted an asset that was really brown fields with a history that we could point to. That's really important for us.
Yeah.
Right? A precedent of production. So, in the case of where we came from in Quebec, long gold history. What we've just acquired in southwestern Idaho, it also has history. 1.6 million ounces of gold produced,
Right.
100 million ounces of silver. Two phases, really. It's what I like to say, the tale of two histories, right? It's the high grade production from the 1800s and all the sort of the Wild West production.
And there's some crazy stories about the
Crazy
Wild
stories.
West production. This is the late 1800s, early 1900s, gun battles underground because there was so much high grade gold that these guys were fighting over it.
Absolutely, they would. Everybody would try to mine each other's vein.
Yeah.
And literally, once that sort of got to a peak, they put their tools down and they started shooting it out underground. So, and the marshals came and fixed the situation. But it's a documented war, and this was just because these veins were so high grade.
Right.
And so there's that history, and then there's the history of the Kinross era, which was the low-hanging fruit, the mushroom cap to the high grade, if you will, of low-grade gold production from open pits,
Right.
from 1977 to about 1998.
Right.
And not a lot of exploration was done, surprisingly, in either of those phases, particularly in the Kinross phase. It was, well, you've been to site, so you saw the layout of drilling. It was designed strictly to define feed for a mill, and that was it.
Yeah.
No exploration was done peripherally and at depth. So that's what we're doing now, essentially.
Right. So now your exploration focus, is on both of those opportunities. So the near surface, the Kinross type mineralization, there's still a lot of that there. You have over 3 million ounces
Correct.
of gold equivalent ounces that remain near surface. So you can prove that exists, clarify that model, expand that almost certainly. And that in itself is a very valuable asset,
Sure.
especially because Kinross didn't heap leach that gold, but it looks like that gold is likely recoverable by heap leach. So if you have several million ounces of near surface gold in a functional jurisdiction that can be heap leached, like that's worth something.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for us, there's that opportunity, and we've got to do some metallurgical characterization work to define how well it heap leaches, right? Because when you're talking low grades of gold, in our case it's a 0.7,
Which is not actually that low.
Which is
but
not
still,
actually that low, but
0.7,
we're very much in a show me stage of the market where you have
For
to
sure.
show everybody that this is actually amenable to, in our case, bulk heap leaching, essentially.
Yeah.
And that work, as you highlighted, was done in the past. I mean, that test work was done. So we'll be carrying on from what Kinross did towards the end of their mine life.
Right.
And doing more characterization work. And on top of that, we have the high grade
Yes.
that fed all that low grade at surface. And so the tricky part of our exploration plan is to design all of our drill holes to test the low grade and the high grade at the same time.
Right. Do both.
Do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the high grade opportunity looks really interesting. Not only did these old timers mine it at the turn of the century, but Kinross also tagged into it occasionally when they were drilling for their low grade stuff. They would tag into some really interesting intercepts. So given that we're in a gold market that gets mostly excited about high grade, it's amazing to have this valuation backstop of this low grade valuable resource, but then also have this high grade story that's hopefully about to erupt.
That's the upside, right? And then what we're going to be starting to talk to the investing public a bit more about as the summer progresses is, apart from the drilling, which is, by our standards perhaps not aggressive, right? The Integra model is 10, 15 drill rigs. We only have 3 operating. Well, I should say only.
So restrained.
We're so restrained. We're going to start talking about the regional exploration potential because, again, Kinross didn't look outside of this small postage stamp of a mine that they had. And so there are other projects like, I'm going to throw some names out there, Milestone, Henrietta, Tennessee Mountain, Twin Peaks, that are peripheral to the old mine that have nary a couple drill holes in them.
Gotcha.
And so we're going to be doing a lot of work regionally on those targets that are all within sort of a kilometer to 5 kilometers away from the mine site. So fair game.
Right.
And that's cool too.
Right.
Yep.
So, just a few things to do, just a little bit on your plate.
But it's fun exploration.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Fun. It's a beautiful country out there.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck. I look forward to keeping up with the
Thank
news
you.
through the summer, and it sounds like you'll be busy.
Yes, come on and visit us again. There you go.
Maybe I will.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.